At Christmas, I said I was excited for the reunion. My sister sneered. It's family only, shocking me to my core because after 3 years in a cage, blood felt like the only thing I had left. But Elena didn't know I'd already slipped the first letter into her mailbox that morning. The one spelling out how she'd framed me for her embezzlement, turning our family's catering empire into her personal piggy bank while I rotted in Rikers. And as the snow piled up outside our childhood brownstone in Brooklyn, I smiled through the eggnog haze, plotting to make sure by New Year's, family only would mean her alone in the ruins. My name's Camila Ruiz. And if you think revenge is a dish best served cold, try serving it with a side of spiked punch at a holiday party where everyone's wearing their Sunday best lies. It was December 2022 when it all went to hell. But let's rewind to the summer before, when the air in New York hummed with that sticky promise of something big. Elena and I had built Ruiz and Ruiz events from Mom's old recipe cards and Dad's beat-up van, weddings, corporate galas, the kind of bashes where Wall Street wolves pretended to have souls. I handled the books, she schmoozed the clients. We were the queens of the scene, two Latina sisters from Bushwick who'd clawed our way to lofts in Williamsburg and features in Crane's New York business. Elena was always the golden one, tall, with that effortless wave in her dark hair and a laugh that could disarm a bouncer at One Oak. Me? I was the fixer, the one who balanced the spreadsheets at 2 a.m., while she posted Instagram stories from rooftop bars. But we were tight, or so I thought. Hermanita, she'd call me, even after I turned 30, like I was still the kid tagging along to her high school dances. That bond? It cracked the day the auditors came knocking. It started with a glitch in the payroll system, nothing major. Just a few $1,000s rerouted to an offshore account that looked suspiciously like Elena's emergency fund for her someday art gallery. I caught it late one Friday. The office empty except for the hum of the AC and the distant wail of sirens on Flatbush. Babe, it's probably a hack, she said when I called her at that Hamptons weekend with her latest finance bro. But I dug deeper because that's what I do, I fix things. What I found wasn't a hack. It was a trail of wire transfers, fake invoices for phantom vendors, all signed off in my name. 20 grand here, 50 there. Siphoned from blue-chip clients like that hedge fund blowout for Goldman Sachs. By Monday, the feds were at our door, badges flashing like bad omens. I confronted her in the kitchen of our loft, the one with the exposed brick and the view of the East River that we'd toasted to with cheap Prosecco.
Elena.
What the fuck? She didn't even blink, just poured us both a glass of Malbec and sat me down like I was the hysterical one. Cammy,
Listen.
the business is drowning. That gallery? It's not a dream. It's survival. Mom's medical bills are still piling up, and Dad's pension is a joke. I did it for us. For us? She spun it like a fairy tale, the desperate sister saving the family legacy. But the signatures were mine. The IP addresses traced to my laptop. She'd cloned my logins months ago, during that girl's trip to Miami where she borrowed my phone for pics. I could have ratted her out right then, watched her glossy world shatter. But family, right? That's the American dream we bought into, blood thicker than the Hudson. Loyalty over logic. So I took the fall. Pleaded guilty to felony fraud. Got 36 months with a slap on the wrist because our lawyer was some connected Italian from Bensonhurst who pulled strings. Elena testified as the devastated sister, tears streaming down her perfectly powdered cheeks, swearing she'd had no idea. The judge bought it. The press ate it up. Ruiz sisters' empire crumbles. One falls. One fights on. She kept the business. Rebranded it Elena Ruiz Events. And by the time I was processed at Rikers, she was on page 6, arm in arm with a real estate heir at the Met Gala. Prison? It's not like the movies, no shark-infested showers, but a slow grind that chews your edges until you're all bone. I shared a cell with a lifer named Tasha from the Bronx, who taught me poker and picked my brain about white-collar scams. Girl, you didn't skim for a yacht. You did it for love. That's the dumbest hustle I ever heard. Nights were the worst. Staring at the cinderblock walls, replaying Elena's voice on the stand. My sister. She was always so ambitious. Ambitious. Yeah. Ambitious enough to tank her own blood for a Soho lease. Parole came early. Good behavior. They said, on a muggy July morning in 2025. The gates clanged open, and there she was,
Anna.
in a sundress that screamed money, holding a bouquet of sunflowers like we'd just aced a bake sale. Cammy, oh my God. You're out. Hugs. Tears. The works. She drove me to the loft, our loft. Now hers, blasting Bad Bunny to bring back the vibes. Dinner that night was lobster rolls from Nobu, delivered because you deserve the best. She babbled about expansions, a Miami outpost,
Celebrity endorsements.
how she'd held it together for us. I nodded,
Smiled.
let the wine loosen her tongue. That's when she dropped it casual as confetti. The reunions at Christmas. Mom's flying in from Florida.
Dad, too.
Family only. You know, keep it tight. Family only. The words hung like smoke from a backfired engine. I'd spent 3 years as the family ghost. Letters unanswered. Calls screened. Mom's emails? All about Elena's bravery. Dad's silence? Louder than a subway screech. And now, after I'd shielded her from the bars, she was gatekeeping the goddamn holidays? I excused myself to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and stared at the woman in the mirror, thinner, harder, with tattoos snaking up my arms from Tasha's cell block artist buddy. You took the hit, I whispered. Time she pays the tab. The first move was reconnaissance. I waited till she crashed from the jet lag of her latest LA schmooze fest, then rifled her office drawer. Bingo, a burner phone. Text to that real estate prick, now her fiancé, apparently about tying up loose ends before the wedding. Loose ends.
Me.
There were emails too, to our old accountant, the one who'd buried the fraud. Make sure Cammy's story holds. NDAs, ironclad. And photos, me in orange, mugshot chic. Captioned lesson learned for her private journal app. But the kicker? A draft will. Leaving the business to my devoted partner, Marcus Hale, with a footnote. In the event of unforeseen complications. Provisions for Camila's. Support. Support. Like I was a stray cat she'd toss scraps to. Rage boiled up. Hot as the summer asphalt outside. But I played it cool. Over the next weeks, I reintegrated, picked up shifts at a coffee shop in Dumbo, hit AA meetings even though booze wasn't my demon, lies were, and fed Elena just enough gratitude to keep her guard down. You're a lifesaver.
Sis, isay.
Hugging her when she dropped off takeout from Joe's Pizza. She lapped it up, confiding in me like old times, the stress of the wedding, Vegas. All in on excess. The pressure from investors sniffing around the books. How Marcus was the one because he gets the hustle. By October, I had a plan sketched on napkins from that coffee shop. Operation Yuletide Burn. It wasn't about violence. I'm no Scarface. That's for the movies. This was surgical. American-style payback. Expose. Dismantle. Watch her squirm in the spotlight she craved. Step 1. The letters. Anonymous tips to the IRS, the DA's office, even that Crane's reporter who'd covered my sentencing. I typed them on a library computer in Bed-Stuy, using details only I could know, the exact invoice numbers. The shell company's name, Elena's middle initial, E. Ruiz Holdings. Mailed them from drop boxes across the boroughs. No prints.
No traces.
Step 2. The reunion itself. She'd planned it big. Our brownstone decked in twinkling lights. Catered by her own crew, irony much? Invites to aunts, uncles, the whole Ruiz clan from Jersey to Queens. Family only meant no plus ones.
No outsiders.
Just us bloodsuckers circling the punch bowl. Perfect stage for the drop. I'd hacked her email, child's play with a phishing link disguised as a wedding registry, and RSVP'd for everyone. Slipping in a special guest surprise to keep her off balance. As Thanksgiving turkey turned to ash in my mouth, Elena hosted, naturally, with Marcus carving like he owned the damn bird. I felt the tension coil tighter. Mom pulled me aside in the powder room, her eyes watery under that Florida tan.
Mia.
Elena says you're doing better. We're proud. Proud. Of what? The woman who'd lied for her firstborn? I bit my tongue, nodded, and excused myself to the stoop for a smoke. The city lights blurred through the chill, and for a second, I wondered if I could walk away, let karma handle it, find a new hustle in some nowhere town like those Netflix drifters. But then Elena's laugh floated out, sharp as broken glass, toasting to new beginnings. New beginnings built on my bones.
Nah.
Fuck that. December hit like a freight train, Black Friday sales bleeding into holiday madness. The streets a slurry of slush and desperation. Elena ramped up the wedding chatter, dragging me to fittings at Kleinfeld's, where I stood pincushion still while she twirled in lace that cost more than my parole fees. What do you think?
Cammy?
Too much.
Ide murmura provals.
All while mentally cataloging escape routes for when the shit hit. Marcus was there too. That slick-haired shark with a Rolex that screamed daddy's money, clapping Elena on the back like she was his prize filly. Babe, you're killing it.
Killing it.
If only he knew. The letters landed mid-month. I timed them for maximum chaos. IRS audit notice via certified mail. The DA's cold case nudge hitting her inbox at 3 a.m. She didn't connect it to me at first, just paced the loft, snapping at assistants over Zoom. Some bullshit glitch, she'd vent, pouring me a nightcap. Idealisten. Sympathetic. Then drop a casual probe. Remember that old accountant? Sketchy dude. Her eyes would flicker, busted, but she'd recover with a joke about paranoia season. By the 20th, the Cranes piece dropped online. Ruiz events under scrutiny. Echoes of past scandal? Anonymous sources. They said. Elena called me from a meeting. Voice cracking. Cammy, it's happening again. What if they drag you back in? Drag me back? Honey, I'm the one dragging you. But I played the loyal sis. We'll fight it together. Like always. Inside. The thrill hummed like the subway underfoot, payback's pulse. Steady and sure. Christmas Eve dawned gray. The kind of New York winter that seeps into your marrow. Elena buzzed with last-minute frenzy. Garlands from Etsy. A playlist of Dean Martin croons. The turkey brining in the fridge like a sacrificial lamb. The family trickled in. Aunt Rosa with her Tupperware of pastels. Uncle Manny nursing a flask of Bacardi. Cousins from Queens cracking wise about traffic on the BQE. Mom and Dad arrived last. Dad's limp from that factory accident worse in the cold. Mom fussing over his coat like it was armor. Hugs all around. The air thick with plantains frying and that undercurrent of don't ask about the trial. Elena held court in the living room. Fairy lights haloing her like some twisted angel. Marcus at her side with a scotch in hand. To family, she toasted when we gathered. Her eyes sliding to me just a beat too long. I clinked my glass, sparkling cider for the reformed, and smiled. To secrets. A few chuckles, they thought it was a joke. The meal unfolded in fits. Grace from Mom. Carving by Marcus, still peacocking. Small talk about grandkids and stock tips. I sat across from Elena, fork scraping china, watching her laugh at Uncle Manny's stories while her phone buzzed ignored on the sideboard, the audit confirmation. No doubt. Then, as pie was served, apple. From Mom's recipe. The one we'd baked as kids, the doorbell rang.
Elena frowned.
Who the hell? I volunteered to get it, slipping into the hall with a wink. Waiting on the stoop, a courier, envelope in hand, addressed to E.
Ruiz.
I signed, tipped him a fin, and sauntered back. Special delivery, I announced, sliding it under her plate like a twisted gift tag. The room went quiet as she tore it open, color draining from her face. The IRS seal glaring under the chandelier. What is this? She whispered, but her eyes knew. Whispers rippled. Taxes? Again? Marcus snatched it, scanning, his jaw tightening.
Elena. Babe.
We need to talk.
Talk. Oh.
It was way past talk. That's when the flip happened. Elena's mask cracked, and she lunged across the table, wine sloshing like blood from a fresh wound, grabbing my wrist hard enough to bruise. You bitch, she hissed. Low enough for family ears only. Her nails digging in like accusations. This is you, isn't it? After everything? The room froze, Aunt Rose's fork midway to her mouth. Dad's eyes widening behind his bifocals, while I just stared back, calm as the eye of a nor'easter, and whispered, everything? Try nothing.
Cease.
Try the 3 years you stole from me. Chaos erupted like confetti from a busted piñata. Marcus yanked her back, hissing about not here, but Elena was unraveling, that polished veneer shredding faster than gift wrap on Black Friday. She framed herself. For me. Because she loves me. Loves me. She blurted it to the whole damn table. Like it was a rom-com twist. Not the gut-punch confession of a lifetime. Mom gasped, hand to her chest like she'd been shot. Uncle Manny choked on his rum. The cousins exchanged looks that said we'd all suspected the Ruiz drama ran deeper than telenovelas. I didn't let go of her gaze. Love? You call planting evidence on your own blood love? I went down for your gallery fund. Elena, for your dreams, while Mom cried herself sick and Dad pawned his watch for my lawyer. The words poured out. Years of cell block therapy in one venomous rush. And damn if it didn't feel like exhaling after holding your breath underwater too long. But here's the controversial bit. The part that'd split a jury faster than a hung ballot. I didn't do it just for her. Part of me, the broken, desperate part, did it for the family myth we'd built. Ruiz women stick together, right? Through evictions, chemo, the whole immigrant grind. Taking the fall kept the business afloat, kept Dad from that nursing home, kept Mom believing her girls were unbreakable. Noble? Maybe. Stupid? Abso-fucking-lutely. And as Elena's face twisted, shocked to fury to something like regret, I saw the mirror. We were both monsters in this funhouse. She slapped me then, open-palmed across the cheek, the crack echoing like a gunshot in that too-small dining room. Gasps turned to shouts. Marcus pulled her away. But not before she spat. You were always jealous. The fixer who fixed herself right into a cage. Jealous? Of her spotlight?
Nah.
But the sting burned, because deep down, in the ugly American heart of it, maybe a sliver was true. We'd both hustled me with numbers. Her with charm, but she'd always shone brighter. The one Dad called me Estrella. And I dimmed my own light to let her burn. The family splintered like cheap ornaments. Mom herded everyone to the living room, cooing about misunderstanding, while Dad cornered me in the kitchen. His voice gravel from too many unlit camels. Camila. Mija. What is this veracidad? I spilled it all, the fraud. The frame. The letters I'd sent like poisoned arrows. His face crumpled. Not anger, but defeat. Like he'd known all along and chosen blindness. We can't lose another, he muttered. Meaning the business. The name. The fragile empire we'd smuggled from Puerto Rico's dirt floors to Brooklyn's concrete. Fix it, Cammy. For Elena. For Elena. Even now, after the slap. The secrets? Blood's a hell of a drug. Elena barricaded in the master bath, sobbing into a towel while Marcus pounded on the door, alternating threats and pleas. Babe. Open up, we'll lawyer up. Bury this. I lingered in the hall, ear to the wood, catching fragments, her whimpers about the wedding, the investors pulling out. How he can't know about the other thing. The other thing? My pulse kicked up. What fresh hell was this? I'd thought the embezzlement was the core rot. But Elena's secrets ran deeper than the G-train tunnels. By midnight, the party's corpse lay scattered, empty plates crusting over, lights twinkling mockingly. Family filtered out in awkward waves, Aunt Rosa pressing tamales into my hands like holy relics, Uncle Manny muttering about sister shit as he hugged me goodbye. Mom and Dad crashed in the guest room. Mom snores a white flag of denial. Marcus finally coaxed Elena out, her eyes red-rimmed but defiant, makeup streaked like war paint. They retreated to the study for damage control, leaving me to clean up literally, scrubbing the dining table while the city howled outside. That's when I found it, her phone, forgotten on the sideboard, screen lighting up with a text from an unknown. Tell Cammy about the baby yet? Clock's ticking. Baby? My stomach dropped like the A train into the void. I swiped. Passcode was our old house number. Sentimental fool, and dove in. Messages from 9 months back. Right around my release, doctor visits, sonograms. Elena gushing to this mystery number, a clinic in Jersey, about keeping it quiet till the wedding.
No.
Not just any baby, ours?
No.
The math hit like a sucker punch, conceived while I was inside, hidden from me, from everyone. But why the secrecy? Deeper scroll, a thread with Marcus. Pre-engagement, where she confessed the fraud to him, not as guilt, but leverage. I did it for us. Now you owe me stability.
And attached?
A paternity test. Rushed. Results pending. The father? Not Marcus. The timestamp lined up with her business trip to Miami, the same one where she cloned my logins. Twist number 1. My revenge wasn't just for the frame, it was for the lie that I'd carried alone. But this? A kid in the mix? It complicated everything. Turned my clean burn into a wildfire threatening innocence. I pocketed the phone, heart hammering, and slipped out to the fire escape for air. The skyline glittered. Indifferent, Empire State pulsing red and green like a festive vein. Down below, A couple argued in the alley, voices rising in that raw New York symphony. "You think you can just erase me?" the woman yelled. Sounded familiar. Dawn crept in, gray as regret, and the house stirred. Elena emerged first, hollow-eyed in sweats, brewing coffee like an automaton. Marcus was gone, early flight to DC for calls, leaving us alone in the wreckage. She poured me a mug. Black.
No sugar.
The way I like it. "Truce," she said, voice small. I nodded, but inside, the plan evolved. No more anonymous jabs. This was personal now. The letters, why?
Cammy?
After I waited for you. Waited. Like a saint. Because you didn't wait, I said. You moved on. Built a life on my grave. She deflated, sinking onto the stool. And that's when the floodgates cracked. Over burnt toast and confessions. She spilled. The fraud started small. A loan from the books for Mom's experimental treatment, unapproved. Desperate. But the gallery? That was ego. The high of validation after Dad's "girls don't run empires" bullshit. I meant to pay it back. Then the audit hit. And you. You offered. Like I'd volunteered for the electric chair. "I was protecting you," she whispered. "The star can't fall." Protecting. The word twisted like a knife in butter. But the baby, that was the real venom. "Marcus thinks it's his," she admitted, fingers tracing the mug's rim. "Timing's fuzzy, but close enough." The father? That Miami client, a venture capitalist who'd ghosted post-hookup. She'd chased the test for peace. But fear glued her lips shut. If it comes out now, with the audit, everything crumbles. The wedding, the business, the kid, crumbles. Like I hadn't already crumbled for her. Sympathy flickered, damn it, against my better judgment. Here was Elena, not the villain I'd scripted, but a mess of a woman, same as me, chasing the American mirage of more. Better. Unbreakable. We'd both gambled the family pot. Just different cards. "What if we fix it together?" she pleaded, eyes searching mine. "Like old times. Drop the letters. I'll come clean to the board. Partial.
Anyway.
We rebuild. Rebuild." The word dangled, like a lifeline or a noose. I waited there in the kitchen light, steam curling between us. Walk away? Let the kid have a shot at normalcy? Or push the button? Watch her empire smoke while I danced in the ashes? Controversial as hell. Readers would pick sides, the betrayed sister reclaiming her due, or the pregnant one deserving grace.
Me?
I chose the gray. The lurch that makes you question your own moral compass. "One condition," I said. Full truth. To everyone. Starting with Mom and Dad. She agreed. Tears fresh. And for an hour, it felt like absolution, sisters again. Stitching wounds with words. We mapped it. A family meeting post-holidays. Lawyers on speed dial. A plea for leniency citing duress or some spin. But as she hugged me goodbye, off to meet Marcus at the airport, I palmed her spare key from the hook. Trust. But verify. The phone stayed mine. I'd mail it back later. Wiped clean. Revenge isn't a straight shot. It's a boomerang, curving back when you least expect. The days blurred into pre-Christmas frenzy, shopping on Fifth Avenue amid tourist hordes. Dodging Santas ringing bells like alarms. Elena played the penitent, including me in fittings. Confiding baby names, Luna. If a girl, poetic.
right?
Marcus eyed me wary, like I was the loose cannon. Which,
Fair.
but under the tinsel, I prepped phase 2, the board leak. Not IRS, too slow, but a whistleblower drop to the investors. Timed for New Year's Eve, when champagne pops and guards drop. I'd pose as an insider. Attach the old invoices. Elena's emails. Clean. Corporate carnage, no cells. Just bankruptcy court. New Year's Eve dawned crisp. The city electric with possibility. Elena's big bash was at the Rainbow Room, black tie. Skyline views. A-listers rubbing elbows with hedge funders. I was her +1, in a borrowed gown that hugged like regret. Diamonds from her vault, ironic security. To fresh starts, she toasted as we ascended in the elevator. Her hand on my arm possessive. Fresh starts. If only. The party swirled, jazz horns wailing. Caviar towers gleaming. Elena gliding through like she owned the joint. Marcus shadowed her. Schmoozing deals. Oblivious to the storm. I nursed a mocktail. Scanning faces, our old clients. The accountant sweaty. Avoiding eyes. Even that Crane's reporter in the corner. Nursing a scotch.
Perfect.
Midnight loomed. The ball drop countdown, a ticking bomb in my veins. Then, the wrench, Elena pulled me aside mid-waltz. Into a alcove overlooking the harbor. Cammy, I can't do the meeting.
Not yet.
Her voice trembled. Hand on her barely there bump. The baby's kicking, for real this time. What if they take it all away? What if Dad disowns me? Disowns. Like the prodigal son, but with felony charges. You promised, I said, steel creeping in. She nodded, but her eyes darted. To Marcus, laughing with a venture scout. To the exit, glittering escape. One more week. Please. For the baby. The plea hung. Maternal and manipulative. Yanking every heartstring we'd shared. Walk away?
Or push.
The clock struck 11. Horns blaring. And I felt the divide sharpen. Her as victim mom. Me as vengeful specter. Controversial choice number 2, the one that'd have book clubs brawling. I handed her the phone, her phone screen unlocked to the texts. Tell him now. Or I do. Her face fell. Betrayal mirroring mine from 3 years back. You hacked me? A nod. Family only. Remember? She bolted then, weaving through the crowd toward Marcus, dress trailing like a shroud. I watched from the shadows, heart a war drum, as she tugged him to the balcony, words lost in the revelry, but his recoil visible, shoulders stiffening. By 11:30, he stormed past, code in hand, not a glance. Elena stayed out there, alone with the fireworks testing the sky, her silhouette small against the sprawl. Midnight hit.
Auld Lang Syne crooning.
Confetti raining like false hopes. I slipped to the powder room, fired off the email from a burner app, attachments loaded. Subject, Ruiz events, the real cost of ambition. Sent to 20 inboxes, bored. Press. That reporter. Then, the twist I hadn't planned, a CC to Elena. Let her see the blade mid-swing. The fallout brewed slow at first, whispers by the bar, phones buzzing under tables. By 1 a.m., Elena found me, eyes wild, mascara rivers. You sent it. To everyone. Accusation laced with awe. Like I'd pulled a goddamned miracle. Had to, I said. For us. But as security herded us out, Irregularity with your reservation. Bullshit for scandal alert. I saw the fracture. Her hand on the bump.
Protective, mine empty.
But free. The cab ride home was a funeral procession, Times Square's neon blur streaking past like accusations. Elena silent in the back seat. Me up front paying with crumpled bills from the coffee shop tips. Drop me at my place, I told the driver. Meaning the sublet in Bushwick I'd scraped for. A walk-up with roaches as roommates. Elena's hand shot out, gripping the partition.
No. Come home.
Please. Home. The word mocked. But exhaustion won. I nodded. And we rattled over the bridge in that fragile truce. The loft was a blackout zone. Fairy lights unplugged like severed nerves. She poured gin straight. No ice, and we collapsed on the couch. The city groaning below. It's over, she said finally. Voice flat as the East River at low tide. Marcus bailed. Called off the wedding. The merger, everything. Merger. So that was the play. Ruiz events as bait for his real estate flip. No wonder the secrecy. I was the skeleton in the closet for his IPO dreams. And the board, I prompted. Though I knew, my email had hit like a grenade. Shares tanking in after-hours trades. She laughed, bitter as burnt espresso. Freeze out vote tomorrow. Mom called already, screaming about my grandbaby's future. The baby. Unborn collateral in our blood feud. What about the test? I asked, casual as stirring sugar. Her head snapped up, eyes narrowing. You saw that too? God. Cammy. A beat. Then the flood, the Miami hookup, the panic pea stick, the rush to confirm before Marcus's ring. It's not his. Or mine. Really, just some asshole's mistake. Mistake. Like the fraud. Like us. But here's the gut twist. The one that'd have therapists billing overtime. She hadn't just hidden it from me. She'd used it. The clinic, she confessed. Gin loosening the bolts. That Jersey number? It's adoption scouts. Wired hush money from the books, your books, to keep it quiet till I could place it clean. Place it. Like a bet gone south. Sell the kid for startup cash. Wipe the slate for her phoenix rise. You're gonna give it away? My voice cracked. The room spinning. She shrugged. Tears carving tracks. For the best. A fresh start for everyone. Rage and pity collided. A New York Minute meltdown. This was Elena unmasked, not schemer supreme, but a cornered animal, gnawing her own leg off to escape. We'd both chased the dream, hers glitter and galleries. Mine quiet redemption, but twisted it into knots that strangled us both. And if I'd stayed inside, I pressed. Would you have told me? Silence. Heavy as the snow starting to fall outside. No, she whispered. You were the clean one. The one who could walk away. Walk away. The irony burned. I'd taken the fall to keep her clean. And now, we were both filthy. Fingerprints on the same crime scene. Dawn broke. Gray light filtering through blinds. And the calls started, lawyers, reporters, Mom in hysterics from the hotel. What did you do to your sister? Elena fielded them numb, while I brewed coffee, plotting the endgame. Revenge complete?
Not yet.
The climax loomed, not a bang, but a whimpering unravel that'd leave readers picking shrapnel from their principles. By noon, the board convened, virtual. Elena's laptop a guillotine on the kitchen island. She logged in from the couch, me hovering like a ghost advisor. Suits droned, Irregularities confirmed. Immediate dissolution. Her empire. Poof, catering contracts voided. Miami outpost shuttered. The loft's deed in foreclosure. She signed off mute, then curled into a ball. Sobs muffled by throw pillows. "What now?" she mumbled. I sat beside her, arm tentative around shoulders that once felt like home. We fight. Or we fold. The controversial pivot. I chose fight, but on my terms. Pulled strings from Rikers, Tasha's cousin, a fixer in the Bronx courts. Owed me from a poker debt. We spun a plea, joint culpability, reduced sentences, restitution plan. Elena confessed full, the fraud, the baby scam, even a side hustle skimming wedding deposits. DA cut a deal. Probation for her. Community service for me, ironic, right? The press spun it as sister's redemption arc, but whispers lingered. Enablers or victims. Heroes or hustlers. The gray zone where America thrives, flawed folks clawing back from the brink. The family meeting happened New Year's Day. Brownstone cleared of debris. Just as core for, Mom.
Dad. Anna. Me. No terki.
Just take out from the bodega. Arroz con gandals. Humble pie. Confessions flowed like bad tequila. Elena's tears for the lies. My rage for the lost years. Mom's wail for the broken Ninas. Dad's quiet. We all chose wrong. The baby? Elena kept it, no adoption. No erasure. For real this time, she vowed. Hand on the swell. Marcus? Ghosted for good. But his lawyers sent a settlement. Hush money with a bow. Spring thawed the ice. Slow as trust. I moved back in, tentative. The loft half mine, by blood right. We relaunched small, Camila's kitchen. Pop-up events from a food truck. Recipes from Mom's yellowed cards. Elena handled front of house. Her charm tempered by humility. I crunched numbers. No shadows. The baby came in June, a boy.
Mateo.
With my eyes and her wave. Screaming into a world we'd nearly torched. Holding him first. Elena's arms shaking. She looked at me. Your nephew. Our do-over. Do-over. The word stuck. Controversial as hell. Had I avenged too soft? Let her off for the kid's sake. Compromising my fire? Or was mercy the real gut punch, proving bloods pull stronger than bars? Readers debate it over book club Merlot. Villain redeemed or villain enabled?
Me?
I saw shades. No one's all right or wrong in the grind. Just survivors stitching scars into stories. But the final twist, the one that'd spark forum flames, dropped in July. Audit wrap-up. The IRS dug deeper, unearthing not just Elena's skim, but my pre-prison adjustments.
Yeah.
Me. Fudged vendor bids to cover a loan shark debt from Dad's gambling relapse. Buried to keep the van rolling. I'd confessed it to no one. Not even Tasha. Elena found out via the final report. Emailed by mistake. Confrontation in the truck. Mateo napping in his carrier. You covered for Dad? All this time? A nod. Like you covered for your dreams. Her face shock. Then a slow dawn. We'd both shouldered sins for family. Mirrors in the mess. No heroes. Just humans. Flip-flopping through the fog. Truce for real? She asked. I laughed, handing her a spatula for the next pop-up. Family only.
Now.
Falls crisp again. The city pulsing with that endless hustle. Mateo's first steps in the park. Mom beaming from her walker. Dad whittling sticks for El Niño. Elena and I were not queens anymore, just sisters. Brewing coffee in a kitchen that smells of plantains and possibility. Revenge? Served, but with a chaser of grace. Controversial ending. Happy for some. Tragedy for purists chasing ashes.
Me?
I'll take the gray. It's the color of real life in this godforsaken, beautiful beast of a country. As for the reunion next Christmas,
We're all in. No snares.
no gates. Just family flawed, fierce, finally free.